What's up, guys? Zapper the Yapper here. Today, I just wanted to kind of talk about the state of Valorant. As a lot of you guys know, it's been feeling kind of stale. And for me personally, I low-key haven't been enjoying ranked as much. But that's for a lot of reasons, and I don't think it's entirely the Valorant team's fault at Riot Games. I think it more has to do with the Valorant community. And the reason why I think this is because they've actually been doing a really good job adding new content to the game. And I don't think anyone can deny that. The only thing I'm still waiting on personally is going to be that replay system. I still have no idea why they haven't added that, but that's going to be a big one for me. Other than that, I mean, they're adding console to the game, which is going to be crazy. As much as like you could argue that it's just a play for more publicity, it's a smart move. There's a lot of players who don't play on PC that only play on console, and it's going to bring a lot of attention to the game, and it should revitalize it a bit. I personally haven't tried it, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I did in the future. They brought a new map into the game. They're always adding new agents, always updating the game. And maybe the updates aren't always perfect, but they are adding new things. And that's why, Valorant still has a following this far into the future, like 2, 3 years later. I mean, some people argue it's a dead game, but it still gets tons of viewers on Twitch, all of that. But that's not the point of this video. What I'm trying to say is low-key, Valorant's been feeling a little stale because of the Valorant community. Most of you guys, if you're in the Valorant community at all, have noticed that there's a ton of just like random tip videos to get better at the game. And while they're helpful and they usually have like beneficial tips, it doesn't really matter who you're watching. Everyone has something interesting to say that's like usually pretty helpful to ranking up and getting better at the game. But the problem is how many of them there are. There's just way too many people posting this content. At least for me, like I would watch tons of content. I probably watch too much. And while I would find tons of helpful tips, the problem I was having is I would constantly be trying to practice these things in my games, and I wouldn't even have enough time to practice everything. And so I would just find myself stressed out in every ranked game I would play, just stressed out of my mind, playing horribly. Sometimes I do good, sometimes I do bad, but overall I was just not enjoying it. I was just constantly trying to learn all these tons of different tips and tricks, and I just didn't have the time to even do it in the first place. And it's stressful. It's not a fun way to play the game. And ultimately, I came to the conclusion that I was just trying way too hard. At the end of the day, Valorant's a game, and like yeah, part of the fun is getting better and competing, playing against other players, all of that. But you don't have to be stressing yourself out to do that. When you play a sport like soccer, for example, yeah, you're like putting in effort on the field and you're trying really hard, but you're having fun. Like it's enjoyable to do that. And Valorant should be the same way. It doesn't have to be like a stress fest of just trying to improve every little detail about your gameplay. So I decided I am not going to try anymore. I'm just going to not necessarily autopilot, but I'm not going to try so hard when I'm playing ranked, deathmatch, all of that. Uh, that's actually what I was doing in this team deathmatch in the background. But that being said, I feel like it'd be pretty dumb to just give you guys advice of not trying, especially because a lot of people do not do that. So I did a quick Google search. Can not trying be good? And surprisingly, this is what came up. The first quote on Google is, "You do not become good by trying to be good, but by finding the goodness that is already within you and allowing that goodness to emerge. But it can only emerge if something fundamental changes in your state of consciousness." I don't totally know what that means, so I came over here to the AI, and it says it's quite common for athletes and performers to excel in practice, but struggle during actual games or competitions, and there's a few reasons why. Number one's pressure. Practice environments are usually pressure free. You can fail repeatedly without consequences, which allows you to focus on improving your skills. In contrast, during games, the pressure to perform can well lead to anxiety and negatively impact your performance. Number two is perfectionism. When you're not trying too hard in practice, you're likely more relaxed. However, during games, the desire to be perfect can create tension and interfere with your natural flow and decision making. And number three is a mindset shift. In practice, you focus on the process rather than the outcome. During games, the emphasis shifts and becomes more critical, affecting your performance. Ultimately, finding a balance between effort and relaxation is essential. Trust your skills, stay in the moment, and manage pressure effectively to bridge the gap between practice and competition. Basically, if you're trying too hard, shit's not going to work out for you. Obviously, you need some level of effort, like this is saying, in order to improve, but you need to trust your abilities. If you're trying too hard to test out every single thing in the game and every single tip that you're seeing online, it's going to be stressful. Not all of them are going to work, and you might not perform as good as you are capable of performing. Not to mention, if you're trying to do everything that everyone else is trying to do, it's going to take away, also, like perfectionism itself is going to take away art of expression and your creativity when playing the game, which are ultimately what make you unique when playing Valorant and also what add the fun to the game. If you're just doing what you think is right as opposed to doing what you want to do in game or letting yourself play, so to speak, you're not going to be enjoying it the same, which makes a lot of sense. You're trying to do what someone else is telling you to do as opposed to doing what you want to do. And most of the time, what you want to do is to get better, but you need to do it in your own way in order to enjoy it. Otherwise, it's not going to be enjoyable. I don't know if any of that makes sense. I'm kind of rambling, but I mean, I played a couple comp games, not trying, did better than I usually do. And yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? Is it worth it? Maybe I'm just coping. I don't know. Maybe it's just temporary fix too. That happens. But I just thought I'd share. Sometimes too much stuff to teach is not always great. Sometimes you need to practice and learn for yourself. You can hear a million things and not be able to apply it. So I don't know. Try to enjoy yourself. Okay, bye bye.